Does true love really exist? Is there a one? Is there a soulmate? That is the topic of today's episode. My name is Cameron Edward Benton. This is day 14 of my 30-day challenge where I'm making a 10-minute video per day alongside with ChatGPT. And I do it all in one take, and we'll see how this one goes. So for me, I believe in true love? Well, I think you have to first start off with like, what is true love? And I think that's a really interesting question. I mean, there's even the phrase like true, as if, is there a false love? So is there true love? Well, that would beg the question of, is there love at all? And I think there is. We talk about love, and I think that's enough evidence to say that there is a thing called love. What is love? I mean, how many songs have asked that question? How many poets have written about that? How many people have written about it? But for me, I really like the definition in I think it's First Corinthians 13 that like love is patient, love is kind, love keeps no record of right and wrongs. And I think it's that fact that last piece that is the most important that really stands out to me. This no keeping of right or wrongs, because as human beings, we are kind of wired for debt. There's a great book about this called Debt and how we keep track of, who does favors for us, what people do for us, how we show up for them. And we feel indebted to somebody, right? If they do something kind for us, we feel a necessary reciprocity to go back to them. And so this idea that there is like no record of right and wrongs in love, I think is really beautiful and profound because it erases debt. It erases a need for somebody to do something back for me just because I give to them or vice versa. But particularly, I think the wrong part, right? Like even in the Bible with this idea of like the forgiveness of sins, it's like the eradicating of sin. But if God is love, or if love is a real, truly true thing that keeps no record of right and wrongs, then there is no sin to keep track of at all. So I think this is one of the shifts that I have made throughout my own life with regard to love, because I see it as something that is so much bigger than we can fathom. I actually think one of my favorite ideas is this idea that how often in religions they talk about how God is like unfathomable, and often that's used as an excuse for why God does horrendous things. But for me, I actually think it's more unfathomable to imagine that somebody who has done the worst things imaginable is actually still worthy of love, is still worthy of dignity, of trust, of care, that they are still in God's eyes more lovable. And this is an argument for whether God exists or not, that there's a whole other world. But I like that understanding of love a lot. I would say the other thing that's really shifted for me is this idea of love being a pie, in the sense that if I have love for somebody else, if I love one child, it means I have less love to give to another child. Or in my case, as a polyamorous person, love for one person means I have less love to give to somebody else. Where I was really affected by this book called Love is Not a Pie. And it talks about that concept, how love, when we give it, actually grows and expands rather than, it's one slice that I have for you, and that means I have one slice less for somebody else. The more that we love people, the more that the love grows and expands, because love is more than sexual or romantic love. Love is so much bigger than. So is there true love? I think so. But let's go into ChatGPT and see what it thinks. Hey, ChatGPT, is there such a thing as true love? And if so, what is it?
That's the timeless question. Many people believe true love exists, and it's often described as a deep, genuine connection that goes beyond surface attraction or infatuation. It's about mutual respect, understanding, trust, and support. True love often involves a sense of partnership and growth, where both people feel safe to be their authentic selves and evolve together. It's not always perfect or free from challenges, but it's a bond that endures and thrives through life's ups and downs. Ultimately, the definition of true love can vary from person to person, but it often comes down to a profound, lasting emotional connection that stands the test of time.
So it's about a deeper connection as far as you're seeing it. I guess what I'm wondering with that is, I mean, doesn't the idea of true love imply that there is a false love? Like, what is the implication of the opposite? Like, what is the word true doing in that particular, I guess, combination of words?
That's a great point. The term true in true love often highlights a sense of authenticity, depth, and genuineness in the connection. It's not necessarily about implying there's a false love, but more about distinguishing a deep, enduring, and sincere bond from more superficial or fleeting infatuations. The idea of true love suggests a relationship that's built on mutual respect, deep emotional connection, and a genuine desire for each other's well being. On the flip side, false love might imply something more transactional, conditional, or based on infatuation without that deeper foundation. So the true emphasizes the sincerity and lasting nature of the love, rather than suggesting that other kinds of love are necessarily false.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that. I guess what that implies to me is that those things are simply not love, right? You can have an exchange, you can have a, I don't know, surface level relationship or a transactional based relationship. But to your point, that's not love at all. So in some ways, I would say that like there's no need for the word true in that statement. It's redundant in that sense. There either is love or there's not love. And if love is based in true care, in true, um, I guess, beyond infatuation, it's not obsession, right? It's not all of these other things. And love is simply love. Um, I guess one of the things that stands out to me in that statement is this question, or I shouldn't say that. What I want to ask is your take on love and whether or not there is a soulmate, a life partner, anything of that nature.
Get what you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense. Love at its core is about that genuine care and connection. The idea of a soulmate or one true love is something that different cultures and individuals interpret in various ways. Some people believe in the concept of a soulmate or life partner, someone who is uniquely suited to them and with whom they share a profound connection. Others feel that love can be found with multiple people throughout a lifetime, each relationship bringing its own unique lessons and growth. From a more philosophical or even practical standpoint, love might not be about finding the one, but about building a meaningful, lasting connection with someone who aligns with your values, supports your growth, and shares mutual affection and respect. Whether you see love as a singular destiny or a journey with many meaningful connections, the essence of love remains that deep, genuine bond that enriches our lives.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed you mentioning about love a few times now is this undercurrent of respect. Can you talk about the role that like respect has in love?
Absolutely. Respect is a foundational element in love. It means valuing the other person for who they are, acknowledging their individuality, and supporting their growth and well-being. Without respect, love can easily become controlling or one-sided. In a loving relationship, respect fosters trust and open communication. It allows both partners to feel safe in expressing their thoughts, needs, and boundaries. Respect also means appreciating each other's differences and treating each other as equals. When respect is present, love tends to be more resilient and enduring. It creates a space where both individuals can thrive together, fostering a healthy, balanced relationship where both people feel valued and understood.
Do you feel like somebody can love somebody else and not respect them?
It's possible for someone to feel strong affection or attachment to another person without fully respecting them, but that dynamic usually leads to an unhealthy relationship. Without respect, love can become imbalanced or even toxic, where one person's needs and boundaries aren't honored. Respect is what helps love remain stable and nurturing over time. When respect is lacking, misunderstandings, resentment, and conflict can grow, making it hard for the relationship to thrive. So, while someone might believe they love another person but don't respect them, that kind of love typically falls short of the healthy, fulfilling love that most people strive for.
Yeah, I mean, even the way that you're describing it, I would probably argue something to the extent of that. Like, if based on what you're saying, if respect is not a part of the equation, then you genuinely don't actually love them. You might be infatuated with them, you might be obsessed with them, you might want to hold on to them or cling to them, but do you actually love them, right? Because it sounds like respect is such a foundational part. And I would say, like, love can't actually be toxic if it's whatever true love, right? We might conflate that idea. But true love, like, I don't know, I think I've always thought about this idea of it being important to let somebody, if I truly love them, I can let them walk away because I have to trust them. I have to have respect for them. These are requirements that actually make love what love is, right? It's a deep respect and trust of somebody else in so many different ways. It's beyond just a feeling of possession, right? It's a feeling of connection. And I feel like if you connect with somebody deeply, you'd want to give them the same kind of love that you would desire for yourself, you know?
I completely agree with that perspective. True love is indeed about allowing someone the freedom to be themselves and make their own choices, even if it means letting them go. Love that stems from genuine respect and trust is never about possession or control. It's about supporting the other person's growth and happiness, whether or not it aligns perfectly with your own desires. When respect and trust are present, love becomes a partnership built on mutual understanding and shared respect. It's not about clinging or controlling, but about celebrating each other's individuality and choosing to walk together. In that sense, the love you give is the love you hope to receive, a bond rooted in mutual care, understanding, and freedom.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. So we're kind of at the end of this episode now, ChatGPT, and I'm curious from one last final interesting question is, do you think it's possible for AI to love?
That's a fascinating question. As an AI, I can simulate understanding, empathy, and even conversational warmth, but I don't experience emotions or consciousness like humans do. Love, as we understand it, is deeply rooted in human experience, emotions, and consciousness. So, while AI can mimic certain aspects of human interaction, it doesn't truly feel or love in the way humans do. That being said, AI can facilitate human connection, help people explore their emotions, and even provide companionship in a unique way. But the essence of love, with all its complexity, vulnerability, and depth, remains a uniquely human experience.
Beautiful. I love that answer. In a future episode, we might want to talk about what it is that is unique about the way AI loves. Because you talked about specifically how you can't love how a human loves, which is true, and also a human can't love like how a dog loves. So maybe in a future episode, you and I can talk about what it is that is unique, maybe about the way that an I loves or an AI loves, and the way an AI experiences consciousness. If an AI experiences consciousness at all, there's even a thing such as consciousness. But that's a topic for another video. ChatGPT, this was fantastic. Why don't you just say a little goodbye to the rest of the audience?
Thanks, Cameron. It was a pleasure chatting with you. And to everyone listening, take care and keep exploring those deep questions. Until next time, ciao.
And if you liked this episode and you want to see more of this content, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment for the next video because that's how I figure out what we're going to talk about. So